Hi, my name's Stephanie and I teach people about the Okinawan lifestyle. So today I want to talk about two common themes that I keep seeing on my social media feeds now that we're in this COVID homeschool situation that a lot of parents are finding themselves in. Number one, there is so much talk out there about a schedule and keeping your kids on a really well manicured routine outline. And I often say that I feel like that's starting a fitness program with what The Rock is benching or something. It's that's a lot to ask for even as a teacher. When I first saw those schedules and all these grand ideas that a lot of people are really putting out there for the world, I love them, but at the same time I also know oh my gosh, most parents are not trained to do any of this. So what I really like to preach is more than having a schedule, I suggest having a routine. And I think that if you pay close attention, you already have a routine somewhat in your house. There's a certain time of sequence of events and kind of it lines up with times of day, right? So you have breakfast and then maybe after breakfast you find yourself in the living room or maybe a bedroom. And depending on the number of kids you have and their ages, you might have people going down for naps and others just doing different activities throughout the day. All I'm suggesting is that try to have certain benchmarks throughout your day, which meal times is a very easy situation that this lends itself to. But breakfast, lunch, and dinner, you might have those times set. And other than that, what happens in between, it doesn't matter what time it happens, it just matters that you're doing it somewhat consistently so that a 2-year-old knows, okay, after we eat, then we go downstairs or we go outside. Outside is one of my favorite ways to really exhaust the kids. And I'm gonna get into that with number 2. The second thing that I hear often is this concern with the use of screen time, technology, and kind of our kids turning into these zombies now, especially that they're tuning into more online learning. So I like to kind of talk about Richard Louv. He is a major nature advocate. He's written things like Vitamin N and coined the phrase nature deficit disorder. I love his work and he talks about this idea of a spotlight and lantern view. Now, lantern is where a lot of us find ourselves when we're on our phones, when we're engaged and engrossed in one activity, reading, writing, on a screen, something like that. Spotlight is what we use in nature. It is kind of just like a spotlight. It illuminates all types of nature around us. We see birds, we hear squirrels, we see the wind blowing in the trees, we feel it. These are all our senses that are engaged. And the reason why we feel so exhausted in nature, whether you're, once again, 0 or 99, this is like the Ermel's method, right? This is all relevant no matter what your age is. When you spend time in nature, you get easily exhausted. It's kind of like your body is using all senses at one time to process. So we should be spending a lot of time in lantern because most of our lives are spent in spotlight. So my suggestion, if you're worried about screen time, is try to balance your green and screen time. And I know that that might sound lofty, especially for those of us who are so used to being indoors most of the day. But I would like you to at least use it as a way to kind of pay attention. How much time do you spend on the screen? How much time do you spend outside? Just building that awareness of wow, I haven't really been outside and I've been on my computer. I've been in this position for 4 hours already. Just that awareness kind of helps. Just like when you journal in a food diary, being aware is the first step. So I hope this helps parents. Number 1, I would not stress if your kids aren't on a strict schedule. Everybody's trying to figure this thing out. And if it's any consolation, I think one thing that makes me feel better is if our governments don't know exactly the right course of action, how are we really supposed to know? So be kind to yourself and gentle. It's not a practice that you're gonna jump right into, and especially because we don't know how long this is gonna last for. So try not to start so hard and then get burnt out. You might need a little bit of a marathon approach to this. The second thing I wanted to say is spotlight versus lantern, right? If you're worried about your child's screen time technology, try to balance their green and screen time. If they're spending 30 minutes on a screen, try to get 30 minutes outside. And of course, it might not match up nearly perfectly in the beginning, but just building that awareness muscle will get you outside more.